is it like to see the former president come to the Fulton County Jail and be arrested, have his mugshot taken, and have this booking sheet?
Yeah, this is surreal, and I don't think that there's anybody who loves our democracy that's happy about this day. Nobody wants to see a former president booked into a jail. But that being said, I think it's a testament to the fact that everybody is being treated equally. If you commit a crime in this state, then you will be held accountable. I used to sit as a magistrate judge inside of that jail, and it's all that you expect a county jail to be and more. It's not a pleasant place, whether you're there for 5 minutes or months, I'm sure. It's not just Donald Trump and his entourage that Fani prosecutes every single day. There's a gang trial going on right now in the Fulton County courthouse, a very popular rapper, Young Thug, many popular rappers. So she's not discriminating. If she sees that a crime or thinks that a crime has been committed, then she's going to pursue a prosecution. And the thing that people have to remember, she's not an administrator. She's not a pencil paper pusher. Fani Willis worked in the district attorney's office as a senior district attorney, trying some of the most notorious cases in our county. So she knows what she's doing. I've worked with Fani for many years as young attorneys. We started out together at the Kendall Law Firm, very young attorneys. We worked together as prosecutors in the solicitor's office. So she has grown into this role, and she's prepared for this. And at the point that Fani sought an indictment, I thought that there was trouble for the former president of the United States, because
Why do you think that?
I knew she wouldn't pursue an indictment if she didn't think that there was something there.
And I wonder if this, this kind of indictment and the sweeping nature of it, it obviously goes beyond people who directly threatened Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. I mean, I wonder if the district attorney is trying to send a broader message about what happens if you try to disenfranchise thousands and thousands of voters, and particularly minority voters.
And I think that's extremely important. We will have many more elections. There'll be many more close elections. I won the mayor's race by less than 1,000 votes. I lost a very close race once before, my first time that I ran for office. And that's what happens. That's what should happen when you run for office. You win some, you lose some. But I do think it's important that we send a message very loud and clear that you will not stand for this in the state of Georgia. That if you try and intimidate election officials, if you try and intimidate people who are working the polls, that there will be a price to pay. You do have a right to challenge an election. There's a process to challenging an election, but what you don't have a right to do is to intimidate poll workers. You don't have a right to try and unlawfully influence the Secretary of State. There's so many things that they did where they crossed the line. I'm an attorney. It's unfortunate to see that the attorneys have even gotten caught up in this. You don't have the right to do illegal things on behalf of your client. So I am not celebrating today. There's nothing to celebrate about today. But it is reassuring to know that no matter who you are, if you break the law, if you try and intimidate people and try and deny people their votes, that their votes be counted, that there will be a penalty to be paid. But for the sake of Ruby Freeman, Shay Moss, and so many others who have just been subjected to all that has happened, has transpired, I think this is a testament to the fact that our justice system is blind.
And of course, you're referring to the election workers who were targeted not just by the former president, but by so many members of his inner circle at the time. People who have also, walked into the Fulton County Jail to be booked and arrested. What's that like, do you think, for those election workers who were just doing, their civic duty when they were harassed and bullied and intimidated and threatened?
Well, I had an opportunity to meet them when they were honored at the White House by President Biden, and they really are salt of the earth women, very warm spirits, and they seem to be very humble in watching their testimony, not attention that they wanted at all. I would assume that this has to give them some comfort, but I don't think that there's anything that will erase the pain and trauma that they were subjected to. But I do hope that the fact that the district attorney of this county has seen fit to remember what happened to them and to not push it aside because of who these people are, hopefully that gives them some comfort.
How do you think she's watching all of this? I mean, do you think she just goes about her normal business as the city kind of is shut down for the last few hours waiting for his arrival and having him come here?
Knowing Fani Willis as I do, she's not losing an ounce of sleep over this. And you have to remember, even while all of this is going on, I mentioned the YSL trial with Young Thug that's going on. There are other trials that are happening in the Fulton County courthouse. There are other cases that her staff is preparing to try. So business is continuing in the courthouse, but I don't think that Fani's losing any sleep over this one.
Speaking of Fani Willis, and given you know her, I mean, what Sarah's referencing is not just coming from Trump and his inner circle. It spread, what he says spreads to other people. I mean, we saw these supporters out here earlier who, when they saw security lining up, were chanting "lock her up" and saying Fani Willis's name.
Yeah, when I pulled up, they thought that I was Fani, and they started chanting it at me as well. And just walking through the crowd, there was a lot of hatred out here. A lot of
They thought you were Fani Willis.
They thought that I was Fani Willis. Imagine that. A lot of hatred and really bad energy out here. But, you know, this is when you sign up for public service, you don't get to pick and choose your good days and your bad days. I have full confidence in Sheriff Labatt. Sheriff Labatt was actually the corrections chief for Atlanta when I was mayor, so I know them both very well. I saw Sheriff Labatt just yesterday. He's doing great. You know, there are tough days that come with these jobs. I don't think that anybody wants to be subjected to threats. But that being said, it's part of the job. And if we give into that, then who are we as a country that people don't serve because they fear for their lives? I mean, that's a threat to our democracy in and of itself.
But what do you make of it's not even just the threat level of this, it's the political level aspect of it too. I mean, you know this obviously when you're working at the White House, and this is something that they are using to their advantage to fundraise off of. I mean, Trump, before this happened, said, I just need one more indictment and then I'll have the nomination locked up.
I think it's really unfortunate. As I served as mayor, I've worked with Governor Kemp. I know that didn't always get the attention. When we didn't get along, that got the attention. But we worked very closely together. I worked very closely with many Republican leaders. And that's what people elect us to do. They want us to put aside our political differences to be able to get things done. So when I see what's happening right now during this election cycle in this Republican primary season, like it concerns me for our democracy, quite frankly, that we are giving in to the worst of who we are in many ways.